If they have already decided that they are not going to do well, they will never do well.
Welcome back to Let's Ascend, a channel where you get perspectives on rising up in your personal and professional life. My today's guest is Apurva Purohit, who's a multifaceted corporate businesswoman leader with over 3 decades of experience. During her corporate journey, Apurva has worked as the president of Z Telefilms, COO of Times Television Network, CEO of Radio City, and president at Jagran Prakashan. Not only this, Apurva is a wonderful writer who's authored 2 books so far. And Apurva has also been a great hockey player who was part of the Tamil Nadu state team and has played at a national level. During my conversation, Apurva shared some wonderful life lessons that helped her rise up in her personal and professional life. And finally, in line with the tradition of Let's Ascend, Apurva summarized her journey through a beautiful song that I sang on her behalf. So I hope you enjoy this video.
Professionals like us, born in a particular era and grown up in the last 30 years, I think all of us essentially middle class. Father was a government servant, mother was a teacher, and that entire middle class upbringing where the focus was on simple living and high thinking and education. So I think I would define my childhood by 2 things. One is the focus and emphasis on education to sort of upgrade you or pull you up. And I think the other thing which I recognize that how fortunate and lucky I was the fact that because my father was a government servant, we tended to live in these little colonies across the country and get transferred every 3 years. So I've stayed practically in all parts of India, from the north to the south to the east to the west. And what it did was it sort of made me very comfortable with our diversity. It made me very comfortable with living with very different types of people. As I told you, I passed out of IIM Bangalore and I got into advertising out of campus, and I remember it was amongst the lowest paying jobs, and my batchmates were very upset because I pulled down the average. But I wanted to be in this entire business of managing creativity, not a creative person myself, but managing creativity is where I thought I got my excitement from. And so I stayed in advertising, I stayed in media. I moved from running an advertising agency, set up one of the first media houses in the country. So many years ago, one of the youngest business heads at that time, the youngest CEO of my batch. And then moved to running ran ZTV, set up Times of India's television network for them. So their entry strategy into television, Times Now and Zoom, etc., I designed for them. Moved to running Radio City in partnership with a private equity fund, and had the best time of my life those 16 years. Radio City today has become a case study in defining how culture has an impact on profitability. Because despite being smaller in size, it has the highest market cap in the entire radio industry. It has the lowest attrition, the best profitability, all the parameters it scores much above its competition. Then moved to Jagran, the larger portfolio handling digital and print and radio and outdoor. And I was just thinking back of these 32 years, and I think maybe for a couple of years here and there, I've completely enjoyed this journey. Through this journey, one of the things that I observed is that there were such smart women joining organizations, right? And I myself would recruit so many at the entry level. And women would join with great determination to do well, enthusiasm. They had the talent, they had the skill set. But somewhere in the first decade of their career, half of them were leaving. In the next stage, 2/3 were leaving. So that the pyramid of diversity, 30% at the entry level, 15% at the middle, and 3 to 5% at the top, has remained largely unchanged for the last 20 years. Despite organizations doing so much, right, Vishal? So then I said, what is going wrong? Why is this happening? Organizations want to keep women, leaders want women. Why are they not staying back? I realized that they wanted to stay back, but there were no role models, no guide book available to them how to navigate this journey. So both the books that I've written, Lady, You're Not a Man, and Lady, You're the Boss, has been written to encourage women and to give them some hacks, some tips, some practical suggestions of how they can manage to succeed at home and at work. The battle is finally won or lost in your mind. Whatever happens in real life is actually just the next stage. It has to happen. But whether you're going to win or lose, whether it's in a project, whether it's in a relationship, whether it's in a job, in an interview, in an exam, you win or lose first here. And then you just play it out as it's happened. And how did I learn this lesson so early? So, when I was in college, I used to play hockey. And as hard work and luck would have it, I started playing for my college team and then my city team, state team, university team. And finally, we went to play at the national level. Okay. Now, we were from Tamil Nadu and the Tamil Nadu team. And obviously, the Tamil Nadu team is made of the cream of hockey players across the entire state, right? So when we go to play the hockey matches, we go from the attitude, my God, we are such queens of hockey and we'll just defeat everybody. And then this is now national. It's completely another level. The first day we warm up, go to play the match, and I think we were playing against Punjab or something. And we get defeated 7-0. With the tail tucked between our legs, we come back, get up the next morning, go and play the second match, defeated 11-0. And so this goes on. So 7-0, 11-0. We don't know what's happened to us because we are getting completely outclassed and completely outbested by the best teams around. And we don't know how to reconcile to it. Except finally we've said, okay, we are not going to not going to do well in this tournament. Let's just finish the last match and leave. And then the day of the final match dawns, Vishal. I was the goalkeeper. And in my mind, I had decided that we've lost all the matches only because of me. Whereas the truth was the whole team was not playing well, right? The ball was only in our D. People would hit, and even if I save 50% was going in. So it was a total team who was actually outclassed. But I decided in my mind that it's me, it's my fault. So when everybody was warming up and getting ready, I stood in a corner and I'm just moping and looking here, looking there, not warming up to play the match. So my coach walks up to me and says, Apurva, what are you doing? So I said, no, ma'am, we've lost the game because of me, and I'm so sorry, and I'm feeling very bad. I've been a terrible goalkeeper, etc., etc. So it doesn't give me much attention. But when she announced the team, Vishal, she chose the same team as earlier, except she dropped me as the goalkeeper and took the second goalkeeper in. Of course, we lost that game too. And then she walks back to me and she says, Apurva, you saw it was not because of you that we were winning or losing. It didn't make any difference to the outcome. But I dropped you from the team because I wanted all 11 players who were trying. Not 10 players trying and one person who has lost the game in her mind. And that sort of resonated with me so strongly that even now, 30 years later, I have not forgotten this. And I see this play out in corporate India, in life, in any situation. So you give a target to a team, and let's say it's a tough year, etc. And there's a team leader who spends a lot of time arguing with you and telling you why the target can't be achieved. Whereas there's another team leader who says, okay, let me try. And I'll tell you the difference between the first person and the second person is the first person will never achieve more than 50%. The second person in the same situation, same environment, same set of resources will reach at least 90%. if they have already decided that they are not going to do well, they will never do well. And I think the mind also is very powerful, right? When we say we are trying, it keeps on suggesting solutions to you. But if your mind is spending all your time coming out with excuses of why A is not possible, or why this is going to fail, or why my relationship is not going to succeed, or my target not met, it's never going to come back with a solution mindset. So a lot of people, Vishal, spend a lot of effort building that perfect CV. Acha, let me go and work in McKinsey. Then let me do this. Now I have understood radio. Let me go and tick mark television. Now that I've understood television, let me go to print. And they're so focused on, the CV, the next role. Okay, I was assistant VP. Now I want to become VP. Then I want to become senior VP because it'll look good on my CV. That actually they end up forgetting that in life it's not about the CV at all. It is about the reputation you are building, either mindfully or mindlessly. Because we don't concentrate on that aspect, right? We are thinking, acha, when I have a very powerful looking CV, I'll get the C-suite job. But at a certain point, jobs happen only out of what people are saying about you, what people are talking about you, your seniors, your juniors, your ex-colleagues, your peers, the person who comes and makes tea for you every morning. What do they say about you? And I don't think people think about it. So, when a lot of people ask me, ma'am, what are you most happy about in your entire career? I say the one bit that I'm very happy about is that through my 32 years, I never had to make a CV. All my jobs, and I've changed jobs, all my jobs I got because someone had heard about me and got in touch. Or someone had worked with and they got in touch. And again, this is so to make this come alive for everybody who's listening to us. In the middle of my career, my husband shifted jobs and I moved with him from Bombay to Chennai. And I had to take a slightly lower level job than what I was doing in a bigger city like Bombay. And I could easily finish that job in 3-4 hours. And I saw a lot of my colleagues, you would finish your job, you don't have too many clients to manage, etc. in smaller cities. And then the rest of the time, they would just while away. But I was using that time to, let me do a newsletter for the company. Let me do a preemptive pitch for a particular client. Let me just put together some industry-specific analysis, just to, keep myself busy. Now, I just did it because that's our work ethic, right? We were taught to work sincerely and work hard. And there was somebody very senior watching me. I didn't even know that he was watching me, right? And a few years later, he was responsible for the biggest jump in my career when he offered me a job in another organization. So, and therefore I'm witness to the fact that people are watching, whether they're doing it directly, indirectly. You are constantly under a spotlight. This philosophy of kehna, karna, nibhana. Now the Hindi language has kehna, of course, and karna. It also has nibhana. Now, in English, we say we should walk the talk. So, kehna and karna is walk the talk, right? Just don't talk, walk the talk. But why is there also nibhana? And what does nibhana mean, which is different from karna? And I think it means to me that whatever tum kar rahe ho, do it consistently and repeatedly. So even if when there is a reputation, even when there is, in a relationship or in an organization, when we are putting in certain practices in place, are we saying that we will keep on nibhawing on our commitments? So consistent commitment. So, and I see this, and it's so important. I see it in small things and big things. So Someone will make a promise to you, okay, and small promises, okay, I'll be there at 2:30, and then it's 3 o'clock and they're not there. Or, okay, do you want me to get you something from this shop? And say, okay, please get me ABC. No, I forgot. Why are you promising when you are failing to deliver? Equally in the big things. When you tell me that, listen, ma'am, okay, you're telling me to do 100 crores, I can do 95 crores. Then you go ahead and do 95 crores. Okay? Don't say, okay, 100 crores, yeah, and then you promise and you deliver. And I think this is such an important part of a culture because, and I keep on telling these to my teams, that don't make policies if we can't deliver on them. So what's the point in saying, transparency is a big policy that I want in my organization? When at the drop of a hat, if I tell you, okay, if transparency is a big policy, will you share your P&L with the 750th employee? No, that's confidential. So then how are you nibhawing the policy of transparency? Or if you say fair, my part of my principle is to be fair. And fairness means that I will treat everybody alike. But no. Let me give special treatment to the boss. Then where is fairness? So don't have that policy. But if you have to consistently deliver on it. So I think this nibhana, and it's so important in relationships also, no? In marriage also they say, I'll marry you for better or worse. In sickness and in health, in happiness and in sadness. So you nibhao that relationship, no? Otherwise, don't get married. So I think this bhana bit. Since I myself am a strong advocate of women, you know that diversity has been very important to me. The 2 books I've written specifically so that women stay back in the workforce. So I think one message specifically for all the women who are listening here is that, when you look around you and you see women who have succeeded and those who haven't, many times we turn around and say, oh, maybe she had a special mentor, maybe she had some special circumstances, she had support. Actually, the only difference between women who've done well and women who've not done well is that they didn't give up. They just worked hard. They didn't give up. And there are times where life is very difficult. You're managing family and career and husband's career, and there's so much pressure on you as a primary nurturer and the caregiver, and the guilt that accompanies working moms, the guilt they feel. But you just have to plow through it because you have the talent, you have the skill. All you need to do is take control of your own choices. We cannot give the reins of our life to anybody else. The moment you do this and work hard, I tell you, every woman will do as well as the most successful woman she sees around herself.
As we have a tradition, we want to conclude every video with a song that somehow resonates with you in terms of your journey or the principles that you followed. It'll be great if you could let us know which song comes to your mind, why, and whether you will sing it for us or you would delegate.
I'm a big Bollywood music fan, right? So, and all retro. I don't think I know any song after 1990. But one song that really stays with me and I think it defines what I believe in is the song from Sadma, Ae Zindagi Gale Laga Le. Okay, I'm not going to sing it. I'm certainly going to delegate it to you. I think this whole song, talks about how life deals, fair and unfair blows, good things and bad things, opportunities and challenges to all of us. And how, if you have a positive mindset, you embrace that. You embrace both the good and the bad about life, right? So I think, तेरे हर एक गम को गले से लगाया है, right? So I don't think any of us should accept that life will always be nice and kind to us. It won't. But तेरे हर एक गम को गले से लगाया है.
जिंदगी गले लगा ले, ऐ जिंदगी गले लगा yeah, yeah, yeah.